Imagine a world suddenly silent. Not, peaceful quiet, but this really terrifying, unnatural stillness. And it's only broken by this unseen, sort of tearing scream. Then the ground starts to crack, and people chirr. Well, they start turning to rock. Today on The Deep Dive, we're plunging into a truly extraordinary global crisis. It's a unique alien invasion, really, centered around a weapon that operates way beyond conventional understanding, sound itself. Our mission today is to unpack the bizarre and chilling details of this unique threat. We want to understand its methods and explore the, surprising ways a planet fought back against an enemy that basically weaponizes the air around us. This isn't just a story. It's more an exploration of how a world faced an enemy whose very presence was the weapon, and how just a handful of individuals ended up confronting it.
Yeah, and our journey today, it's based on this collection of sources detailing these terrifying series of events. We'll trace it right from the beginning, from what seems like a really idyllic scene in New Zealand. Then we move to a small English town, plunged into this silent horror, and ultimately it becomes this desperate global battle for Earth's actual atmosphere. It's a fascinating look at how a threat this unique unfolds.
Okay, let's unpack this now. We should probably start where the nightmare really began, with a geophysicist, Dave McGrath, over in New Zealand. He's up on Mount Ruapehu, just doing routine atmospheric monitoring with his friend Tony. Sounds peaceful enough, right? But then a meteor, not just any meteor, this one slams into the ground, transforms rock into fire, and from that inferno, something actually emerges.
And what emerges well, it sets the tone, doesn't it? It's the profound and terrifying core of this whole thing. It's described as tiny, green, kittenous creature, cobra-hooded, but with, and this is the creepy part, surprisingly human-like features. And intelligent eyes. Dave, being the scientist, he's initially just captivated, alien life. Tony, meanwhile, ever the practical one, apparently tries to pick up what he calls a cute little guy.
Right, but the cuteness, it vanishes pretty quick. What really strikes you when you look at these accounts is that the very first act of this creature isn't physical. It's a sound. It's described as like tearing, screeching, just a horrific scream. What's the immediate impact of that first sonic blast?
Oh, it's immediate and visceral. Dave instinctively recoils, covers his ears. It's a sound that just rips the air apart. It instantly induces this profound fear. And get this, a nerve paralysis that starts deep underground. It forces them, completely against their will, to walk into the very lava it came from. This isn't just a weapon that hurts, one that controls. It assimilates. It turns terror into an act of, self-destruction. And that's the first horrifying nugget of insight, really. A threat that turns your own body and fear right against you.
Wow, okay. So that initial terrifying encounter in New Zealand, it really sets the stage. The conventional rules of engagement, completely shattered from the get-go.
Yeah.
But as our sources show, this threat, it wasn't just confined to one remote volcano. It spread rapidly across the globe. So our deep dive now takes us to a seemingly ordinary English town, Lannet. This is 2003, and that's where an equally extraordinary figure makes a very unexpected entrance.
Indeed. You hear that familiar wheezing, groaning sound, the doctor's TARDIS. It materializes on a quiet street corner, and out steps the doctor, an alien from a far-off world. He's an adventurer in time and space, obviously, and he immediately senses something's profoundly wrong. The streets are just deserted, eerily silent, even though it's evening.
Yeah, and he's immediately uneasy. You hear him almost talking to himself or maybe unseen forces, saying things like, I don't want to be here. I won't do it, whatever it is. What's fascinating there is just how quick his intuition is, how he picks up on the absence of sound, that unnatural quiet, as the first big warning sign.
Well, it's his trademark, isn't it? That acute sensitivity to anomalies. He then pulls out this blue mobile phone from a panel on the TARDIS. Now, this looks like a mundane object, but as we'll find out later, it's way more than just a phone. It hints at the interconnectedness of his extraordinary life. Anyway, he heads into the volunteer pub, and there he finds Alison Cheney, the barkeeper, and two terrified men.
And Alison's reaction is interesting. Her immediate desire to just tell him what's happening, despite being clearly terrified. That feels like a powerful moment, doesn't it? It shows how desperate people become for someone, anyone, to intervene when they're facing this kind of invisible, paralyzing threat.
Absolutely. And this brings us right to the heart of the Shalka's main tactic, control through silence. We learn about this humanoid figure named Prime. It's the Shalka commander. Prime observes the TARDIS, communicates through these soft, warbling harmonics. It's manipulating the air itself to send signals deep underground. So this isn't just about making noise. It's about orchestrating silence and controlling through vibration.
And the doctor tunes into this really quickly. He follows a wisp of steam from a manhole cover, hears that high, warbling alien scream from down below. But the Shalka aren't just lurking, are they? They're actively changing the environment. The pavement under the TARDIS suddenly glows red-hot, liquefies into lava, and the blue box is literally dragged down, its lights flashing, trying desperately to escape. What's the significance of them messing with the environment like that?
Well, it's a terrifying extension of their sonic power, isn't it? They're not just destroying things, they're repurposing Earth's geology, turning solid ground into a liquid trap. And it's tied directly to their true horror. The Doctor soon discovers these grotesque shapes, vaguely human, made of rough rock. These aren't just victims, they are the people, transformed, their agony frozen in pumice. Matilda, an old lady he meets, she confirms it all. The unnatural quiet, the animals disappearing because they're sensitive to sound. She talks about this booming in the throat from below. And then she herself succumbs, just melts into the ground.
God, that's horrific. So the Shalka's method becomes chillingly clear then. They use sound to induce paralysis, fear, and then literally convert organic life into rock, absorbing it. And this control, it extends even into people's homes, like with Alison and her boyfriend Joe. He's basically paralyzed by fear, enforcing the suffocating silence in their house. How does the Doctor break through that very human paralysis?
He literally shatters it. I mean, his act of deliberate chaos, smashing mugs, yelling it, isn't just desperation. It's like a symbolic refusal of the Shalka's control through silence. It forces Alison to confront her fear, which is absolutely essential because this enemy thrives on that paralysis. It highlights a really key insight. Sometimes defiance, even just small acts of rebellion, can break the spell of fear. Alison finally spills the beans, tells him about the deep underground vibration that started 3 weeks ago, how it turned her friend Kim into a rock statue, and she admits she saw one of the creatures.
And right on cue, the Shalka emerge. Green, shining, snake-like humanoids. They navigate and stun using that sonic scream. The Doctor, with his typical insight, figures them out fast. He calls them bioplasmic creatures, masses of goo. The bodies are just crust scabs.
Okay, what's the profound implication there? An enemy that doesn't truly die in a conventional way, how does that redefine the fight? It's a total game changer for warfare, isn't it? This isn't just a resilient enemy. It's an enemy that forces you to rethink the very concept of defeat. Their physical form is almost like a distraction. Their real threat is their ability to reconstitute. And, more terrifyingly, how they weaponize something as fundamental as sound. Not just for attack, but for navigation, for control. It shifts the battle completely, away from brute force, towards a war of perception and manipulation.
Right, and the Doctor's first counter move is just brilliant in its simplicity and ingenuity. He grabs a metal serving dish, reflects their own screen back at them, causes them to explode into green liquid, which horrifyingly starts to reform immediately. So then he leads Alison and Joe to a hardware store, rapidly throws together a bomb. This isn't about traditional explosives, though, is it? What's the actual goal here?
No, it's about disrupting their sonic network. That's the key. The explosion, yeah, it's destructive, but its main purpose is shattering the Shalka's pervasive web of sound that control the town. It breaks the spell. You see people emerge from their homes, disoriented but free. It's a localized victory, sure, but a crucial one. It demonstrates that the Shalka's strength, the sound network, is also their vulnerability. And the Doctor, having kept his word to Alison, makes this quick call to the UN Secretary General, mentions a spot of bother in Lancashire, classic understatement, before just leaving abruptly.
That call, though,
Yeah.
immediately sets up the next major challenge, because the Doctor's relief, totally short-lived. He goes back to the street corner and his TARDIS is gone, just swallowed by lava. Meanwhile, underground, Prime, the Shalka commander, melts into the ground, rejoins hundreds of other warriors in their forward base, comforting itself with their collective screams, apparently. And they have the TARDIS. And, surprise, inside it, another Time Lord. The Master is revealed. What's the significance of the Master being there, battling the Shalka's sonic attacks, using pre-programmed defenses even?
Well, it immediately ramps up the stakes, doesn't it? The Master's presence inside the TARDIS, which is already under attack, it just shows how severe the Shalka's sonic capabilities really are, how pervasive their threat is. It can even affect a Time Lord's defenses. It also really underscores the Doctor's profound isolation at this point.
Yeah.
And his complex relationship with his own people, even his arch-nemesis. It's a really fascinating dynamic that adds another layer to this unique deep dive.
Yeah, definitely. So back on the surface, Major Thomas Kennett of the Royal Green Jackets gets briefed. He's preparing a combat platoon, trying to prioritize civilian evacuation. Standard military response, really. But when Kennett meets the Doctor, their first interaction is tense, to say the least. The Doctor seems less concerned with military strategy and way more focused on getting his TARDIS back. He even expresses disdain for the military despite the mounting global civilian deaths. What does that tell us about his priorities, his unique approach?
It's classic Doctor, isn't it? He's not a soldier. He's a scientist, an adventurer, a problem solver. He prioritizes knowledge and often a very specific, usually unconventional solution over just brute force. He sees the bigger picture, not just the immediate tactical problem. He explains to Kennet why Lanet was chosen. It sits on this plug of ancient volcanic rock that the Shalka can manipulate with their sonic cries. And it's not just Lanet. He reveals there's a global pattern. These plugs of rock are being exploited all over the world.
Okay, so this isn't random at all. It's a meticulously planned invasion, using Earth's own geology against itself. Even as the Doctor reluctantly agrees to go down into the caves with Kennet's men, the Shalka's grip is tightening elsewhere. Alison and Jo, they're in an evacuation truck, thinking they're finally safe, but the road just liquefies beneath them. The truck sinks. And then Alison is violently grabbed, pulled down into the earth by a Shalka. Her abduction feels like a critical turning point, right?
It absolutely is. Alison's direct experience getting inside the Shalka's world provides crucial information. Stuff the Doctor, for all his brilliance, just couldn't access on his own. She finds herself in this huge underground cavern. It's the Shalka base. She sees control panels, a sort of brainy Shalka operating them, and a glowing vortex, which is clearly a warp gate. And the Doctor's captured TARDIS, surrounded by hundreds of Shalka, all screaming at it. This reveals the true scale of their operation. It's massive.
Okay, so inside the base, Prime, the commander, is boasting about a billion worlds empire. They activate a black hole, the warp gate, used for waste disposal apparently. Its gravity starts distorting the cavern, and they hold Alison struggling over a pool of lava. The Doctor arrives, gets battered by the Shalka, and he's hit with this profound dread. He's falling into the black hole, and in this moment of raw despair, he calls Major Kennet, gives them the Shalka base coordinates, their name, and confesses, "I got her killed." Again. What's the weight of that again for the Doctor? That must be huge.
Oh, it's immense. It speaks to this deep personal trauma, a recurring burden he carries from past failures, past losses. It's a rare glimpse into the vulnerability underneath his usual confidence, isn't it? But then, right in that moment of despair, this truly ingenious revelation hits him. The Doctor realizes his blue mobile phone isn't just a phone. It's dimensionally transcendental. It's a functioning part of the TARDIS itself. He uses its chameleon circuit link to transform it into a TARDIS door, leaps into his control room, where the Master, probably much to his surprise and relief, greets him. This is a crucial little nugget of knowledge. The Doctor's tools are more integrated with him than they sometimes appear, blurring the line between technology and his own being.
Right. So the Doctor and Master reunited inside the TARDIS. A very contentious alliance, you'd imagine. But the stakes couldn't be higher. Kennet reveals the global picture. 26 communities worldwide, evenly spaced in this vast spiral pattern, all controlled by the Shalka now. And their plan is chilling. Make humans scream, strip Earth's ozone layer, alter the atmosphere for their own survival. The Doctor estimates barely an hour until Earth's ecosphere is completely ravaged. This is no longer just about survival for a few towns, is it? It's about preserving the very essence of the planet.
Exactly. And the Doctor, facing this impossible deadline, takes an absolutely unprecedented risk. He confronts Prime back in the Shalka base and, in a really shocking move, takes that tiny Shalka parasite from Alison's head and swallows it. This isn't just desperation, it's a calculated attempt to link directly with the Shalka network to fight them on their own terms from the inside. He goes through immense pain, his non-human brain literally battling the parasite's influence.
And it actually pays off. Now he's linked. The Doctor uses the Shalka's own power right back at them. He mocks Prime, calls them one-penny jelly snakes, then releases this single pure note. Causes all the surrounding Shalka to just explode into green fog. It's perfect pitch, right? He's literally weaponizing music, harmony, turning their sonic dominance into their downfall.
He is. Pure sound as a weapon, and he uses the warp gate switches cleverly to strategically maneuver Prime, eventually kicks the creature right into the black hole where it screams its last. But the victory isn't solely his. This is important. The Doctor retrieves the tiny, now reprogrammed Shalka from his palm and asks Alison to reabsorb it into her scar. What's the significance of her role here at the end?
It's vital, isn't it? As a human, she can now connect to the Shalka network in a way the Doctor maybe couldn't. She broadcasts a counter-command, "Stop the scream, free!" And across the world you see people waver, some fall, the control weakening. The Doctor then, from the TARDIS control column, blasts this final pitch-perfect note with his own scream. A final earth-shaking sound that shatters the remaining Shalka collective, all of them, worldwide, just vaporize into green mist. The controlled people collapse, exhausted but free. Earth's atmosphere starts to recover. It's really a testament to the power of a combined, unconventional effort.
Yeah, it is. And as the Shalka structures collapse without their scream to sustain them, this quiet peace settles. The Doctor, in a rare moment, reflects on his own contradictions. Not killing, but exterminating thousands here. Not liking the military, but having friends in it. It's complex. Alison is then welcomed inside the TARDIS proper, and she's amazed by its massive, comforting interior. Fireplace, armchairs, the works.
Right. And Alison observes the Master, who, despite his usually cold exterior, offers this revealing insight. Talks about the Doctor's past traumas, his exile, and his profound need for companionship, even from a human like Alison.
It paints a much richer picture of the Doctor, doesn't it? He's not just the detached genius. He's someone who carries a deep sense of loss and genuinely needs connection. And Alison, well, she makes a really powerful choice. Despite a very strained farewell with Jo, she decides to leave her old life behind entirely, to join the Doctor on his adventures. It's a huge leap of faith into the unknown, choosing these extraordinary experiences over, comfort and familiarity.
Yeah, it's a big step. The Doctor refuses any more help from Major Kennett, don't need an extra hand or something like that, guides Alison into the TARDIS, and then you get that familiar wheezing, groaning sound as it dematerializes, leaving only its shape in the mud, a temporary imprint of a journey that has really only just begun for them.
So this deep dive into the Shalka crisis, it really reveals how a hidden, seemingly innocuous element like sound can be weaponized with absolutely devastating global impact. It highlights the really unexpected forms an alien invasion can take, and the vital role of, well, critical thinking, adaptability, and maybe even just sheer defiance in the face of this overwhelming invisible control.
Definitely. And the story leaves us with a provocative thought, perhaps. When the greatest threat operates through fear and paralysis, how much of our own strength actually lies in the refusal to be silent, in the courage to challenge the unseen, and maybe in the belief that knowledge and connection can overcome even the most absolute power?